Hey everybody, it's Devin with Dads and Dice here. And as you know, Paul and I have been playing a ton of Marvel Dice Thrones here lately, and we have just been having a complete blast playing it. We have been playing character versus character, all kinds of different matchups, and just completely enjoying playing the game. So, I thought it would be a really fun idea to do a top list of my favorite characters to play. I've kind of got to play them all several times now, and I've really definitely have my favorites. Although I really enjoy playing all of them and enjoy really all 8 in the whole box, I definitely have the ones that I'm really happy if I randomly draw or it's my go-to when deciding to play. So before I get into that, please, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. All of that does help our channel grow, helps these videos get seen to more people, and we really do appreciate you and the community that we're forming. Now, let's get over into the list. Okay, first up for me is got to be Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is just so much fun to play. The negative and positive status effects she has, everything about her, it just really, it oozes the theme of her, and I just really completely love it. But really, yes, the bulk of what makes her so much fun is those status effects. She's got 4 different status effects. She has probability manipulation, reality warp, conjure, and crackle. Probability manipulation, by far one of the strongest abilities, I think. It allows you to tip a dice higher or lower as long as it was an even number to start. So I think that's just so strong, considering normally to manipulate your dice you have to have cards that let you do it, and so that relies on you drawing the cards and then having the CP to play those cards, and she has it just with that status token alone. Although it does have the caveat of being even dice numbers that she can change, it's still so strong. You can almost always tweak to what you want. If you want to get to that straight, or possibly just change one to get to a symbol that you need, it's an incredible status token. The next one up, Reality Warp. Hands down, so much fun to play. I honestly completely love playing it. I'm sure, and I've been on the other side of it as the opponent, it's not as much fun. Once you give that to them and you force them to use one of Scarlet Witch's dice, it really creates this scenario where they feel like they have to go for straights, right? Because they're now short one of their dice faces, so it just logically makes sense that you're going to go for numbers, and it really pigeonholes them. And timed correctly, you can really force them to not get one of their status effects that they could possibly be rolling for. Something, if you wait later in the game and give it to them, you know that they don't want to go for the straight, because although a lot of times the straight are heavy hitting damage, they may not get the status tokens or the status effects that they're wanting. So I think it works really well with that. And then there's Conjure, and Conjure really it ties in really well with Reality Warp, but it's a twofold effect. So the first thing it can do is you can spend it to inflict Reality Warp, and that's really the strategic part, where instead of it's just based off what you roll, but you get to actually time when you're going to do it. The other thing that it allows you to do is, I'll say steal, but use one of the opponent's positive status effects. And there are several that are really good to get. Getting Spider-Man's webbed and inflicting it on Spider-Man, letting your next attack become undefendable. The same case for guard break with Thor. There's so many that work really well, and a lot of times when I have that Conjure, it is a tough decision what to use it for. Is it better to inflict the Reality Warp or take one of their status tokens? And then last, definitely not least on her list of status effects, is Crackle. Crackle is awesome. It really seems like just a weak, kind of chip damage ability, but as the game goes on, you really can consistently be pulling up your crackles for 3, pull up another for another 3. You'll have so many status effects that you'll get the full value of crackle, and you're adding 6 damage and attack, and it's just, that is incredible. And I like that. I like the piling up the status effects to then spend them on crackles to dump it into damage. So it is really cool. So yeah, Scarlet Witch, she is awesome. Highly recommend her. If you haven't played her, definitely try her out. Okay, next up is my main man, the powerhouse, Thor. Thor can just do so much damage. Whether it's just his pure attacking damage or the little chip damage from throwing and retrieving Mjolnir, Thor is he is awesome, and I love the way that he plays. First and foremost, I have to talk about Mjolnir, because I think that is it's such a really cool ability. One, if you got the Kickstarter version, you have that nice chunky Mjolnir to play with, and putting it onto the opponent, it's kind of like an insult of, oh, okay, and I'm gonna throw Mjolnir, and you set it on them, and it's a piece that you have that they don't have anything like it, because it's just nice and hefty. That part is fun, but I like the way that Mjolnir works. The being able to discard cards and knowing when to throw it or retrieve it. So as you're rolling along and you can see, okay, I'm possibly going to do this attack that allows me to throw Mjolnir. However, I already have it out there, so I'm going to spend a card to retrieve it. I don't know, there's a lot of decision making in there, and that part's a lot of fun. And then, of course, when you retrieve it, not the only way, but one of the ways, you get the electrokinesis, and it is one of my favorite status effects. The way that you can use it to build up to a full stack of 4 and then do one of your big heavy hitting abilities, and then immediately after that, and adding the damage from it, you can dump the electrokinesis, draw a card, and I don't know, it flows so well. I always find my games with Thor to be the ones that I draw the most cards because of that electrokinesis. I mean, there's such a steady stream of it coming that I'm always able to just spend it, draw a card. There'll be times where, oh, it looks like I'm about to get this attack. Let me go ahead and spin my electrokinesis because I'm about to get a few more. That's a way I really like to play. I like to go through the deck, so it's really fun. And then Thor, his attacks are just so strong. If you look at something like his large straight, baseline large straight, that thing does 10 damage, right? 20% of an opponent's health. We had a game where I think right off the bat, had 2 large straights. Turn 1 and 2, 2 large straights. I have almost taken out 50% of the opponent's health right from the start of the game. And I think it's incredibly strong. And of course, if you're the one on the Thor side of that, it's really fun. And then he has such an amazing defensive. I find that my games with Thor are typically my games that last the longest, right? Because he is able to just mitigate so much. You roll those worthies, you mitigate 2 damage per worthy, and then once you've upgraded the defensive and you are rolling 4 dice, you have even more chance of rolling your worthies, plus the fact that you can also get more electrokinesis or throw or retrieve Mjolnir. It's one of the more fun defensives. There's a lot of defensives where, like Black Panther, you roll slashes, it does damage. One of Spider-Man's where you roll thwips, and it does damage. And although, yeah, that's fine, and doing damage is the point, I don't know, there's something about mitigating or getting things, both Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange get a whole lot of status effects off their defensive, so I like the defensives that lean more toward that than just the ones that, oh, okay, and it adds a damage, right? So Thor, man, he is fun. I can't stress that enough, but yes, again, play Thor, you're gonna have fun doing some damage to the opponent. Okay, and last up, definitely not least though, my favorite character to play. First, before I even reveal who it is, this was the character that when I read through all the characters and I read through the abilities, probably the one that I was the least excited for, the most meh about. Although I was excited to get this, I was excited to play with all of them, this one was, the abilities just didn't really click for me or didn't really excite me. That was until I played Black Widow. Man, I so slept on her when going through the hero list. Her abilities are awesome and they are so much fun, and starting right from the top, Covert Ops is just, it's an incredible status effect, right? The fact that you start with 3 of them and they're very hard to get more. I think baseline, just looking at her player board, only one of her abilities can possibly even get you more Covert Ops, and it's very hard to get. It's you have to roll right on the ability roll part of it, and that's because it's such a strong one. I personally, although there is the side of using the Covert Ops to get them out of or to play the ability upgrades out of your hand for free, and that can be nice, save you 2 CP if you play it on the bigger end. The side of it I like to use it for is the possibly tutoring out a card of your deck. So most of the time I'm playing it and I'm looking at the top 3 cards, I'm honestly hoping that I whiff. I'm hoping that I don't see an ability upgrade, and that way I can search the deck and play the one that, or not play, but get the one to my hand that I really want. And if that's the case, almost always turn 1, I'm hoping for a whiff and I'm hoping to upgrade her passive, because then it works so well with playing all the other ability upgrades. Every time you play an ability upgrade, you're getting to draw a card, and then you're tutoring out more cards with Covert Ops, and you end up with so many cards in your hand and all of your ability upgrades. It is not uncommon for a Black Widow game to, by the end of it, you have 6 or 7 of your ability upgrades out. I've never had a game where I've had all 8, and I'm really honestly hoping that I do get to have that, because I think that would be a lot of fun. But yes, it's just, man, that ability is so much fun. The other thing that really, until I played it and saw how it played, the time bomb status effect. I understood, okay, you put it on there, they roll, and then it advances and whatnot. But man, getting those things out and you both watching the opponent roll, and you're hoping for a 1 through 5 and they're hoping for a 6 to defuse, it's awesome. And then once you have, I think it is 6 ability upgrades, and you are able to start having the time bomb start on the 1 second side, and so you play it and then it's immediately on your opponent's upkeep, that if they don't roll a 6, they're taking 4 damage. It is really, really good. And her ultimate, right, it becomes so strong with her ultimate, where I believe it's baseline, it does 10 damage. However, it inflicts 2 time bombs, and if those time bombs are starting on the 1 second side, that's almost another 8 damage. So 18 damage in an ultimate. That's unheard of with the other ones, and it's awesome. It's incredible. So it's just so much fun. I can't stress how fun Black Widow is. It's getting, I like being able to get all those ability upgrades out. I like being able to draw a bunch of cards. That's the same theme I kind of had with Thor. It's the way I like to play games in general, especially like a deck building style game where I want a real thin deck that I cycle through. And although in this you won't fully cycle through, it's still, the more you draw, it's more card advantage that you have over the opponent. And that's just, well, it's fun. It's fun when you're on that side of things. That is Black Widow, my favorite out of this box. Honestly, maybe one of my favorites in all of Dice Thrones. I'll really have to think about that, but I think she really could be. I've said it about the other two, but if you have not checked her out and you were like me and her abilities were just like, oh, okay, I see. No, she's fun when you are piloting her, so check her out. Okay, so that was the list, or my top 3 characters. In the comments, tell me what you think. Tell me if you like these 3 characters. Tell me if, oh, that one didn't work for me. Or tell me if one of the others was your favorite. Maybe you really enjoyed Black Panther. Who knows? Let me know in the comments about that. Before I go, I would like to thank our sponsor of this video, and really who made this video possible, and that is Casual Tabletop Events Discord server. They are a brand new Discord server that does, plays, and talks about everything Dice Thrones. And not just the Marvel version. They are Dice Thrones Season 1, Season 2, Adventures, Marvel, all of it. They're a very fun community, very active, and they've got these neat events that are always kind of ongoing, or they have ones ongoing now and futures planned. I think right now what they currently have going is like a play to earn system where as you play with other players and whatnot, you earn points, and you can actually spend those points on things like promo packs for Dice Thrones, battle packs, or possibly even a full battle box if you save up, which is completely incredible and super generous that they're doing it. They also plan to, here coming up, do a 4-player tournament, which will be really cool. I know Paul and I both plan to participate in that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for sponsoring this video, for allowing it to happen, and we'll have all the link of everything in the description below, but please go check them out. Otherwise, that is all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.